Git has tons of commands, but most of the time, you only need a few of the most commonly used ones. I will cover some basic commands. I'll be using Gitkraken to demonstrate the following basic Git commands since it has a built-in terminal, so you can visualize the changes as I type the commands. I will try to do each operation using both Git commands and the graphical user interface. Okay, so the first step is to create a GitHub repository. There are multiple ways to do that. You can, of course, go to GitHub, click New, and make a repository. I want to show you another way. So if you have installed GitHub CLI, you can create a repository pretty easily. So this allows you to do some GitHub operations within the command line. So the command is gh repo create the repo name. I'll call it git demo private to make the repository private. And it's created. So I'll copy this, go to github.com/ paste it in. And here is an empty GitHub repository. And to remove it is also very simple. Just git repo delete. Git demo, and it's gone. So if I refresh now, we get 404 not found. Okay. So the second way, which is the most usual way to create a new repository, is using the website. I will call it git demo. Make it private. You can initialize the repository with readme, ignore file, or license. We will not use any of this. So we'll create a repository. The third way is also very simple. It's using Gitkraken. Go to a new tab. So if you signed into GitHub, you get integrations with GitHub working. You can actually start a hosted repo here. Select the account, and the options is pretty much the same as the GitHub website. So I will not do it again. Okay, so let's get started. If we create a new repository, then we use this instruction. Or if you already have existing repository, we use the second one. But since it's a brand new repository, we will follow the first instruction. Let's make a new folder called git demo, cd into it. So right now there's nothing in it, and we run the command. So we create a new readme file containing git demo in it. So the folder name does not have to be the same as the repository name on GitHub, but usually we just keep them the same. Okay. Second command, git init, to initialize an empty Git repository. Now, if we run git status, we can see there is an untracked file, readme. Untracked file means it has not been committed. This file has not been committed and is not tracked by the local Git repository. Now, we will run git add readme. The changes is moved from workspace to the index stage. If we run git status again, you can see the new file is ready to be committed. To discard the changes, you can just run this command. I'll just keep going. Git commit will make the first commit. Now if you run git status, nothing to commit. But if you run git log, you can see the first commit message here. Git commit simply makes a snapshot of your code changes. Next command, it will set the main branch to master. The next command, git remote add origin. Remote basically means the remote repository, which is the repository hosted on GitHub. And origin is the name of the remote repository. So by default, it's origin. You can set it to be something else, but by default, it should be origin. And the URL tells the local Git repository where to download the latest changes and where to push my changes. By push, I mean upload. Okay, so now if we run git remote -v, we can see we fetch data from here and we push data to here. If we didn't run this line of command, this will return nothing. So to remove the remote, we can run git remote remove and the name origin. Git remote -v gives us nothing. Okay, let's add it back. The last command is for pushing the current changes to the remote, which is origin and master branch. This is one way to do it, or if you run git push directly, it will fail because it doesn't know where to push the local branch to. It doesn't know it should be pushed to origin master branch, right? So the way to do it is just copy paste this command and press enter, or you can just use this command. But it's okay if you don't remember this. Just run git push, it will tell you what to do. And now if we refresh the page, we can see this README file is added to the remote GitHub repository. The next command is git clone. I will cd back to desktop and remove it. Let's clone the repository again. So for now, I'll be using HTTPS link. You can also use SSH if you know what you're doing. You will need an SSH key and upload the public key to GitHub. And also, if you have GitHub CLI, you can also use this one. Usually, we just use HTTPS. I will talk more about this later. So the git clone command is very simple. It's basically downloading a remote repository to our computer. So it's cloned. Let's cd into it, and we can see this file. Okay. What if we're using Gitkraken? In Gitkraken, we can go to a new tab, clone repo. We can paste in the URL here. That's okay. We can also use github.com if you have signed in to GitHub. So it have access to all of my repositories when you sign in, and just search for it. So it's git demo and clone. Oh, it exists and it's not an empty directory. That's because it's already exists here. So I will remove it and clone it using Gitkraken. Okay, clone. Yep, so it's open and we can see this commit graph. So the first commit contains a README file with this new line of code. Okay, so this is git clone. The next command is git add. We used git add to add the README file just now, but I want to go into a little bit more details. So let's create a new file called demo1.markdown. So you can see a new row pops up, and we can see 3 windows on the right: the onstage files, stage files, and commit message window. So let's review Git stages diagram I mentioned in another video. A Git repo has multiple stages, and Git commands are basically used to move the changes of your code between the stages. So currently, the new file is in workspace, and by running git add, the file name, we'll move it from staged files, from unstaged files to staged files. This is also known as index stage. By clicking on stage all changes, it will move it back to workspace. Clicking stage file or stage all changes is equivalent to git add. So if you have multiple files, suppose I make another file, demo2, and git add dot means current directory. So instead of adding each file one by one, I can add everything. So this is git add. The next command is git commit. Git commit is basically saving a snapshot of your code changes, and the -m means message. So added demo1 and demo2. You can see the new commit message. And on the right, you can click to see the file changes. But since they're just 2 new empty files, there is nothing here. Okay, so let's make some changes to the files. Echo hello demo1 to demo1. Okay, so we modified demo1.markdown. We git add or stage the file. Instead of using git commit, we can also use git kraken's GUI to write the commit message. Update demo1 commit. Okay, so let's go here, open it, and we can see this new line added to the file. So this is git commit. The next command is git push. By running git push, it will push all the latest changes we make locally to the remote, which is GitHub. If we look at the master branch here, we can see there are 2. The one with the laptop, it shows local. That means the changes are made locally on the computer. It's not uploaded yet. And here it says origin with my profile picture of GitHub. That means the remote repository latest commit is this first commit. So when you run git push, it's equivalent to pushing this push button. So I run, and you can see that the changes are pushed from master to master branch, and there is only one master here. Both origin and local is on the 3rd commit. So that's good. The next command is reset. For example, I will make some new changes. Demo3.markdown and commit it. You made a change, but you regret it. You don't want to add this file. Now you can right-click on the commit you want to reset to. There are 3 options: soft, mixed, and hard. So you can see the explanation here. In the terminal, you can also see the options. But for now, I will not go into too much details. I will just use git reset hard. So to reset using the GUI is very simple. Just click hard, it will be reset. But how to do it in the terminal? Let's reset back to this commit. So by clicking on the gear icon, you can display the SHA value. That's a hash for the commit. It's for identifying a commit. You can also find it using git log. So this is a commit. It's super long, much longer than this one. But if you pay attention to the first 6 letters, you will realize that it's the same as the SHA displayed here. F29286. So you can just copy the entire hash or just the first 6 characters. Run git reset -- hard and the SHA value. But don't worry about this for now. I guess I will cover this later. But if you're trying to use git reset, and especially git reset hard, you really need to know what you're doing. At least you need to back up your code to GitHub. Otherwise, you could potentially lose your code changes. Enter, and we can see that the local branch master is set to this commit. So now we are in the second commit. Let's say I want to, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this one line of code anymore. We can run git push. So it will tell you, basically it's saying we're not up to date with the remote, and we need to git pull to get the latest changes first. We cannot push for now. Git pull. We are now up to date with the remote. Pull button is also available here. Now we can add more changes and push. So the one important rule is that your current branch needs to be up to date with the remote branch. If the remote branch has a newer commit, then you cannot push to it. You have to git pull get the changes, merge the conflicts, and then push. So we finished reset and pull. The next command is branch. Branch is usually used for collaboration between team members and also implementing different features. So usually you use a separate branch for each feature, for each fix. Now let's run the git branch command. Git branch demo1, it will create a new branch locally. You can see the local branches here and the remote branches here. Remote branches basically means the branches that are available on GitHub. And here you can see our current branch. If you run git branch command, you can also see our current branch is master, and we also have a demo branch. So creating a branch does not automatically take us to the branch. So we need another command called git checkout demo1. So now we are switched to demo1 branch. Yeah. So you can see this is highlighted. So how do we create a new branch using GUI? Just click on this branch. I will call it demo2. It will create a new demo2 branch and automatically switch to it. So how to check out using GUI? Checkout means switching branches here. So let's double click on demo1. It will go to demo1. Super simple. You can also use the drop down. You can go to master or hover over the branches here. Double click on demo2 and it will take me to demo2. So is it possible to create a branch and switch to the branch at the same time? So it is possible. You can use git checkout -b demo3, switch to a new branch, demo3. So you can see this branch is also created locally. You can also use git switch -c, let's say demo4. This command will also create a new branch and switch to it. So currently, all the branches are local branches. They are not pushed to GitHub yet. So if you run git push, you will need to run this set upstream command. It's very simple, just copy it and paste, press enter. Then this demo4 branch will be pushed. So let's do it. So new branch, demo4 to demo4 in remote. So if we go to browser and refresh, go to the drop down, we can see demo4 here. So if we switch to demo3, instead of using the terminal, just click push. It will ask you what remote branch should demo3 push and pull from. By default, it's the same name. So it's basically the same thing as the set upstream command. So just submit. And demo3 is on remote. Okay, so let's go to demo2. The other way to do it is git push origin demo2. This will push demo2 to remote demo2. Okay, demo2 appears in remote. We now know how to create branches, but how do we delete branches? The command to delete a branch is git branch -d. So you can see this -d means delete. And we can delete demo1. So demo1 is gone here. We can delete demo2. This will not work because we're currently on demo2 branch. So your terminal may look different from mine because I did some configuration with it. But if you run git branch, you should be able to see your current branch, or just look at git kraken. So to delete demo2, we need to switch out of demo2. So git checkout demo3, for example. We're here. And let's run the command again. Git branch -d demo2. Demo2 is gone. Okay, so how to delete a branch using git kraken? It's also very simple. Hover over the branches. For example, we want to delete demo4. Right click, and you will see this delete demo4 and delete origin demo4. The first one means delete the local demo4 branch. The second one means delete the remote demo4 branch on GitHub. You can also go to here, click on this drop down, and delete demo4. So demo4 is also gone. But one thing you may realize is that they're not removed from the remote branch. They're only removed locally. So how do we remove them from the remote branch? To do it using Git Kraken is very simple. So for example, you can see there's no laptop icon for demo2. So that means it's only on remote. Right click, delete origin demo2, and confirm. Then demo2 is gone. To use terminal, you can use git push origin, which is a remote name, -- delete, and the branch name. So let's say demo4, because we have a demo4 in the remote. And it's deleted, and it's also disappeared here. Good. So we now know how to deal with the branches. The next command I want to talk about is restore. So suppose I make some changes to a file, to demo1, and I create a new file called demo3. So you can see one of them is yellow, one of them is green. Green means it's a new file, or if you type git status, it tells you that it's untracked files. And yellow means it's modified. It's tracked, and it knows it's modified. We already know that to move it to the index stage, we can click on these green buttons or use git add, right? But how do we move them back to the workspace from the index stage? So git status, it tells you to use git restore -- staged and the file name. So let's just copy it. By the way, if you want to use Git Kraken, just click on the red buttons and it will be moved back to the unstaged files. So you can type the file path, or you can also just use a period. Period means the current directory. So everything in the current directory will be restored. So enter. So you can see the staged files are moved back to unstaged files. So now, what if we want to discard the changes in the workspace, both of them? Using Git Kraken is super simple. Just click on this trash can button, discard all changes, and reset all, and everything will be gone. So how do we do that in terminal? We can still use the restore command. Okay, so git restore dot, or you can also type the file name, but I will use dot. I want to show you something. Okay, after running it, you can see that demo1 is gone. But why is demo3 still here? So that's the difference between a modified file and a new untracked file. So this demo3 is a new file. It's not tracked by Git. So git restore will not discard this. So suppose we have some newly added files and we want to discard them. How do we do that? So you can use git clean -f. Okay, so the file demo3.markdown is gone. The next command is merge. Merge is for branches. So we are now on demo3. And I will make some changes. Touch demo3.markdown echo hi to demo1. And I will just quickly commit it. Update demo1, add demo3. Commit. Suppose demo3 is a new feature. And now I want to merge the changes from demo3 to master. Basically, to make master up to date with demo3. So to do this using Git Kraken is super simple. We are now on demo3. Right click on the master branch, and we can see this option, merge demo3 into master. Or if we're on the master branch, right click on demo3, we can see the same thing. Merge demo3 into master. It's the same. So just click, it will merge and create a new commit. Now they're merged. If we go to the merge commit and look at the changes, you can see demo1 has a high added and demo3 is a new empty file. Okay, let's reset back to master. Master is here. So how do we do the same thing in terminal? We're now in master branch. It's very simple. Just run git merge demo. It will merge demo3 to master. Okay, you can see master is now with demo3. But can we do it the other way around? So let's reset master again. And I will run git checkout demo3. So now we are on demo3. Can we run git merge master to merge demo3 to master? So it will say already up to date, because the demo3 branch is kind of like a child branch of master. It has everything master has. So when it's try to merge master into itself, nothing will happen. But if we go to the master branch, we'll make some changes. Let's say echo hey into demo2, and let's quickly commit it. Now, master and demo3, they both have their unique changes. So let's go back to demo3 and run the git merge master again. This time, it will create a new commit message. And usually, if there is a conflict, you will need to resolve the conflict. But since now we're not editing the same file and the same lines, there's no conflict. So there's just a merge message. I can edit this file. It's vim. Type anything, random message. But usually I just leave it merge branch into something. Maybe you can write about why you need to commit. Okay, save. And we have a new commit. This is how git merge works. The next command is git fetch. So what is git fetch? So let's review the diagram. Git pull will pull the remote repo, whatever changes is made in remote repo, to local repo and the workspace, all the way to the workspace. But git fetch, the changes is only moved to local repo. What does that mean? Let me show you one example. So let's go to GitHub. By the way, let me reset, because we made some changes here. Let's push both of them. Then we'll make some changes to the README file. Trying fetch. Commit. So we know that. Let's go to the, we are on master branch. If we run git pull, we will get the changes. Okay, git pull, we can see the two extra lines. So cat readme, we can see this, try and fetch. The changes made in the remote branch is immediately reflected in the workspace. The workspace is basically what I can see in the code editor. Git fetch is different. We will have to close Git Kraken for now, because Git Kraken runs git fetch periodically, and I just want to do it manually. Okay, I quitted it. Let's make one more line of change. Trying git 2. Okay, commit. Now let's use terminal cd into the git repo. Now we run git fetch and cat readme. So you cannot see this try and fetch 2. It is in fact in the local repo, but not reflected in the workspace. So you cannot see it in the code editor. So usually you don't really need to use the git fetch command. Git Kraken uses it to periodically fetch data from the remote and display those new branches, new commits for you, but does not put those changes into your workspace. Usually you don't need to run this command manually. So for example, this is displayed by my plugin. When you run git status, you can see your branch is behind by one commit. And this is something git fetch gives me. So if I didn't run git fetch, I will not see this behind by one commit, and I will not see this message. So if I run git pull now, it will pull the changes to the workspace. And if I cat readme, I will see the changes. Okay, and yeah, this the little icon is gone. Okay, let's look at another thing related to git fetch. Let's create a new branch on GitHub. So I will type demo 5 and create a new branch here. If we are using Git plugin, it periodically run git fetch, so it will know there is a new branch, and it will display demo 5 for me. But if I'm not using Git plugin, how do I know this? If my teammate made a new branch, how do I know it? We can run git fetch to learn this information from the remote. So when we run git fetch, we know there's a new branch. So we know there is a new branch, demo 5, and it's from origin demo 5, which is the remote. Okay, now we can git checkout to, you can see this demo 5 here, right? Demo 5. This will work using git switch demo 5. This will also work. So this is how git fetch works. Git fetch may fetch lots of changes to a local repo. So for example, you have many people working on a huge project. You may not want to pull all the changes, which can be several hundred megabytes. Maybe you just want to fetch the changes made to a single branch. So you can use git fetch origin and the branch name, for example, demo 6. We don't have demo 6 for now, but we can create one. Okay, demo 6. And also, we can use git branch -a. So if we run -h, we can see the doc. -a means all. List both remote tracking and local branches. So if we run git branch a, we can see there's no demo 6, right? And now if we run git fetch origin demo 6, it's trying to fetch only demo 6 branch. Okay, it's fetched. And let's run git branch -a again. So there's no demo 6 here because we didn't check out. It's not in the workspace, but we can find the origin demo 6 in the remote branch. And to use it, just git checkout or git switch. Okay, git checkout demo 6, and we're in branch demo 6. Now we have covered git pull, merge, and fetch commands, and there is a relationship between them. Git pull is kind of like a combination of git fetch plus git merge. Git fetch fetches data to local repo but not to workspace, so we cannot see the updates. So how can we get the updates into workspace? I ran git pull just now to pull the changes to workspace, but you can actually use git merge because we have fetched the updates to local repo. So let me make some changes to the readme again. Try and fetch 3 and commit. Now if I run git fetch, you can see we're one commit behind. If I cat readme now, there's no try and fetch 3. But we can run git merge instead of git pull. And we want to merge origin demo 6. Actually, with a slash. Now, let's cat readme. We can see try and fetch 3. So we can understand git pull as git fetch plus git merge. I didn't go into much detail for some of the commands. And here are a few websites you can read more about the concepts of Git. I used some images from these resources in this video. Geeks for Geeks explains the idea of Git stages nicely. And this blog uses animation to illustrate how each Git command works. So it's very intuitive. If you don't understand how a Git command works, you can read this blog. The third one is a more systematic Git tutorial by Atlassian. It contains more details. So if you want to learn more details, you can read this tutorial. It also talks about how to collaborate. I guess that's everything for today. Thank you. And in the next video, I may talk about how to collaborate using Git and GitHub.